if you are just logging on to all my fellow drum believers out there, my name is Drummer Noli and I've got spots on my glasses. So there we go. So I don't know how many people are on here right now. And if you've just joined us, what would be really good for you guys to do would be for you to go into the comment section, and in the comment section, if you just type in and say hi, greetings from Wexford, or greetings from Enniscorthy, or greetings from wherever you are, that would be really good to know and to get a scale and a scope of where you guys are all from. So I believe it's nearly 8:30, and I did suggest to people that we start at 8:30. So I'm sure people will log on and log off or whatever as the time rolls on. But anyway, good evening and welcome. My name is Noli, and people know me from Drumbelievables. Drumbelievables is Ireland's largest recreational community drum ensemble, and we have gatherings in Wexford, Enniscorthy, Gorey, Neuros, Waterford, Kilkenny, and all around. In addition to that, I just want to give a few shout outs to some people before we start this drum aerobics and this Drumbelievables gathering time online. We don't normally meet online because we love community. We love connecting with people in real time, in real rooms, with real drums. And sadly, because of the current climate, we're here online. We don't want to be online. We would rather be with you. We miss you all very much, all the faithful drum believers out there who regularly attend our gatherings and enjoy and find our meetings uplifting, inspiring, educational and fun, no matter what age you're from. Now, I do want to give some shout outs to some people who are fellow musicians, fellow drum teachers and so on in our community and overseas. One of my good friends is Ronan Macaulay, and Ronan Macaulay teaches ukulele and stringed instruments in Arklow, County Wicklow, and I'm just letting you know that he is available online to give tuition in guitars and ukulele. He's unable to have the gatherings in the community that he normally has, for the same reasons Drumbelievables can't gather, and therefore if anyone is interested or looking for some for some ukulele or guitar or bass or any other instruments that he plays, go and check out Ronan Macaulay Music RMS in Arklow, County Wicklow, and give him some support, give him a like, give him a share, come alongside him and let him know as a fellow musician you're in this trouble that the nation faces with him. Additionally, a good friend, Bobby Walsh from the Balron Buzz, awesome drummer, percussionist, but mainly a Balron player. It's just give him a good shout out saying hi, how you doing, and looking forward to meeting up with you in the summer when all of this nonsense is over and we can get on and make some rhythms together. To my friend Conor Moore from Sound Out Rhythm. Sound Out Rhythm is up in Gorey. They have a drum school for drum kits and so on, for Cajons and Djembes as well. And again, because of the current situation, they've had to close their doors temporarily until this situation is over. So we're saying hi, Conor. We love what you do. We love your work. We hope and trust that you ride the waves with this one and go with the flow as we all have to down here. We feel your pain. Tim Scarborough, another good friend and drummer of many years of mine in Birmingham, and we're in collusions together with a view of starting Drumbelievables in Birmingham, Warwick and Kidderminster, and Tim and myself are in cahoots with that, and we look forward to seeing Drumbelievables grow and blossom in the UK as well. And finally, in my list is our John Randall. John Randall is a professional drummer and multi-percussionist who has a drum school in Ipswich, Suffolk, UK. Hi John, we love you. We have a great friendship. We're going back many, many years, and we look forward to Drumbelievables Ipswich starting as soon as this nonsense is over with you at the helm. We are Drumbelievables. We are the largest recreational community gathering in the Republic of Ireland and even in the north. So isn't that great? So we want to come here this evening for all the people who cannot gather with us in the community because of the current situation and climate. And we want to stay connected with you. We want to stay connected in our drumming, in our percussion, and we want to use our language and our voice to keep on banging out positive rhythms, rhythms of hope, rhythms of peace, rhythms of security. Using the Djembe, using the Igbo drum, using the shakira, the darabuka, the dumbek, the dolek, and whatever else we can get our hands on from whatever country. Our next podcast, and as people, or not podcast, or live auditions, we'll bring in a friend of mine called Brahms, and Brahms is from Mali. We're going to be discussing the culture of Mali, and we're going to be learning all about the Djembe and its cultural roots. And in its cultural roots, Brahms is going to share a little bit about Mali culture, and I'm going to share a little bit about the bambuko and the Mali rhythms and the Mali weaves and the Mali tunings that come with the Djembe, the dun drum, and the agogos and so on. So it's going to be great fun. So we will be doing more of these podcasts, and you will be able to, I keep calling them podcasts, but there we go. This is unscripted. I'm speaking from the heart. I have no notes in front of me. As you know, I don't do notes. They tend to go out the window. I speak from the heart because that's where drumming comes from, and everyone has a heart, and therefore everyone has a pulse, everyone has rhythm. So without digressing or to going off too far, I hope I've shared a little bit of waffle, and I hope a lot more people have now, by now, logged on. This is a live broadcast in drum aerobics tutorial, and at the end of this you will have an opportunity to re-watch this, and we would ask you to like, to share, to subscribe if you've never watched a Drumbelievables session before, but we would like a comment to where you're watching from, just to get a scope. Hopefully some of our Drumbelievers in Gorey, some of our Drumbelievers down in Wexford, in Escorty and so on, are now tuning in. So what I have here, just to remind you, is that a lot of people who come to our gatherings do not have their own drum kits, they do not have their own percussion instruments, and they do not have their own hand drums. I've had some inquiries today from some people, from parents and family parents, parents of children, and for their own inquiries about how will they get hold of the drums to buy them for themselves. Drumbelievables is in a very strong position when it comes to purchasing. We've got great relationships with Milo Percussion, with Toka, with Toman and so on, and we get some hefty discounts for bulk purchases. So if you buy and order a Djembe through Drumbelievables, you will find that you will be getting a very heavy discount, and you will be buying a drum that is free from shipping costs as well. So if you want any advice on that, or if you like some steering and guiding to get your own drums, because let's face it, you don't know how long you're going to be home, and you'd like to tune in and do that, then come and contact me. You know how to do that, and I will help and steer and guide. I will be putting an order in at the end of the month for bulk purchase. Maybe you should get on board and get with that, and then you'll have your drums at home forever, and you'll be able to take them out whenever low moments come, or whenever there's no one else in the house, and you'll be able to have some awesome time together. So without further delay, I want to talk about this 12-inch Djembe. It's manual head, it's tunable, it is goat skin, and it has on it the ability to bring what we call timbre, T-I-M-B-R, various different tone colours. It can produce some hefty tones from the broad high spectrum to the deep bassy section as well. It's a very universal drum and it has multiple uses. In Indonesia and in Mali and places where it's from, and more about that later in the week, it was used for healing and for bringing soothing to situations that were stressful. During times of drought, during times of famine and so on, the people would gather in the communities and they would play certain rhythms. My privilege to show you some of those rhythms and to show you how people communicate. But first I need to give you the basic hand techniques that are used before I can give you the basic rhythms and techniques that are used on the djembe itself. Two hands, right and left. And this is my right. I don't know how it translates on your side, but this is my right hand, okay? People who are right-handed tend to write with their left hand and so on. So I will lead with my left hand. Now I do have the ability to be ambidextrous because I've trained myself over the last 28 years of drumming to play both left and right-handed, okay? When I teach in community gatherings, I teach with that in mind. Not to neglect the weak side of the body, but to develop the left-hand side of the body and the good, positive right-hand side of the body, because both left and right hands have something very important to offer. So I want you to just hold your hands up like this if you're watching now, okay, and you'll see that you've created a triangle, and if you just put your hands down on the surface of the drum like this, you will see a triangle has been formed. And what I want you to do now is to drag your hands back like this so that they fold over the djembe. This is this section of the hands and the fingers that we are going to use to activate the tone section on the drum. What's the tone section on the drum? Well, it's very simple. We have 3 zones on this drum surface head. And the first zone I want to talk to you about is the saucer. The saucer is done like so. It is that size. In the saucer area on your drum head, on your djembe or on your congo or on any other drum surface, you will find that the saucer area gives you the bass. And if I was to hit this with the heel of my hand or the cup of my hand and the palm of my hand just off the center of the saucer, you will get a bass tone, and this is how it sounds. That's an open bass tone, okay? And it's supposed to do 2 of them. That's what you will get. You get that lovely, rich, open, colourful sound. The reason it's an open tone is because I'm allowing the drum head to breathe. I'm allowing it to resonate. So if you imagine that this saucer has just come out of the oven and it's piping hot, and you put your hand on it, you immediately go, ah! Take your hand away from it. What you find is it creates an open tone sound. Now kids out there, I'm telling you, don't be putting your hands on hot saucers or hot kettles or hot saucepans to try this, okay? What we want you to do is to create an open tone and get into the ability of withdrawing the hand, because by withdrawing the hand immediately, you're going to be allowing that drum head to breathe. You see the way it's filled the ambience of the room. So important that is. Now, I want you to imagine this saucer area as completely cold, just like the surface of a table or the surface of a fridge door. That's not a fridge door, okay? But what you will find is that if you're in this saucer area, just off to the center with the palm of the hand, and if you put your hand on it and leave your hand on it, you hear that? You're now getting what we call a closed tone. But in this case, because it's in the saucer area, it's actually called a closed bass. Closed bass. Closed bass. And now what we want to do is we want to open that into a hot saucer. Open bass. Open bass. In other words, hot bass, cold bass, cold bass, cold bass, cold open bass, cold bass, hot bass, hot bass. So if you have a table at home, if you have knees and you want to practice the cold tones, simply go cold, 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 hot, hot. Sorry, I'm going to cut my finger off there on the edge of the Djembe. I'm so glad this is not live. It really is live, sorry. Open bass, open bass, open bass, open bass, open bass, closed bass, closed bass, closed bass, closed bass, open bass, open bass, open bass, open bass, open bass, open bass. I can see you're driving the neighbours mad, aren't you guys? Okay. I want to talk to you about the step up from the saucer. If you have a table and it is laid out for soup and sandwiches and starters and all that jazz, and then a main course, well, normally if you have a bowl of soup, you'll have a little tiny saucer, okay? Put your cup of tea on or whatever. If you're British, there you go, Tim, I knew you were listening. And what I was saying, in your saucer area is your base area. But if you wanted to add a side plate to that, the side plate would be much bigger than the saucer. And the side plate will come out here to this area and surround this circumference of the drum. In drumming, we call this the tone area. Now, remember when I spoke about these, spooky, coming back here, do it again, get your hands in this angle, okay? Lay them down, bring them back, let it drop, bring it back, let it drop, and you can move from 8 o'clock to 4 o'clock if you want, or you can go up a little bit further if you want, okay? And what we're trying to do now is we're trying to do the tone area on the drum. Again, there's two types of tone. There is closed tone, and there is open tone, okay? So what we find now is that the open is hot, don't touch the kettle, don't touch the kettle. On the closed tone, it's where it's suppressed, and by suppressing it, you're holding the tone into the drum head, and you're stopping it from resonating, and you're making a more deliberate, more intentional drive. Open and closed tone. There is another meal to come. We've had our starter served on a little tiny plate. We've had our side plate for our bread that goes with our soup. In the area of the tone section, now we want the main course. Now the main course is the full dinner plate. The full dinner plate is activated on the outskirts of the drum like this. Okay? It's called the slap. Just to recap, bass, tone, slap. Okay, mess that up. Okay, I'll complete. I messed that up. Anyway, so bass, tone, slap. And what you will have with that is an opportunity with the slap to be colourful and light, or to be sharp and piercing. How do you be sharp and piercing? Let's hold these hands up again. We use these, I'll edit that out later, not really. These two fingers. These two fingers, so important, because we do not need to hit the slap with the tips of our fingers like this, because what will happen is, as you'll see, those fingers there will slide off the edge. So instead, what we do is we do that. Okay? And what we want to do is we now, instead of want to bring it back here to our chest area, that doesn't feel comfortable and it doesn't look right, let's face it. What we want to do is we want to activate the slap area on the djembe head at 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock. Tone is 8 o'clock and 4 o'clock. Right? But slap is over here. And normally, as we teach in Drumbelievables at all our gatherings, we use this in our rumble section, okay, for colour and timbre, in terms of making the circle. And I don't like to use the word circle because we don't run drum circles, we run drum ensembles. If you want to know what a drum circle is, go to Venice Beach. They have a lot less clothes on than us. So there we go. The slap area is activated with these two fingers, okay? Normally we play open slaps, okay? But if you want to play a closed slap, okay, we're going to come back up here to 7 o'clock and 5 o'clock on the drum kit, okay? And what we're going to, you'll see the difference, right? So this is hot and this is cold. Now that there is different tones coming alive from the drum head. So we have taken this drum head and we have shown you the closed bass used with this part of the hand, and we showed you, played off centre of course, just outside the black spot, yeah, and we've showed you the open bass. We've now showed you, okay, how to get the tone section. So we make our little triangle, we come back here, we let our hands drop, okay? As we always play this on an angle away from us, high to low. Never like this, because you'll end up with repetitive strain, and you'll end up with carpal tunnel and various different agonizing pains. And we're not here to hurt you. If you are drumming and you are getting hurt, stop, right? Because I told you so. Right. Now, here we go. We want to show you that we have the closed bass and we have the open bass. We have the closed tone. We have the open tone. And now, these chaps, we have the slap areas. We can do open slap, closed slap. You need to do when you're home, guys. It's very simple. Just try and target one hand over the other. Cold, 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 cold. Cold, 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 cold. Cold, 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 cold. Hot, 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 hot. So now what we need to do, after time to digest, remember folks, you can go back and you can replay and rewatch this. And that's why I'm not hanging around, because remember at Drumbelievables, we operate on this principle that if you can say it, maybe you'll type it into the comment box, right? But if you can say it,
you can play it.
You can play it. Now, we also work on the other principle that repetition is the mother of all skills. We practice repetition until it becomes a condition, and then it becomes automatic. So repetition, repetition, repetition is the mother of all skills. We as drum believers and at all our gatherings, and when we're not at our gatherings, we practice repetition until it becomes a condition. In other words, our muscle memory has taken over. And when it becomes a condition, it becomes automatic. So that means I can think about other things. Like, did I lock the van? Is there a place I can get a burger after this meeting? Not really. So the point is that repetition is the mother of all skills. We practice repetition until it becomes a condition, and then it becomes automatic. Okay, now we need to move on slightly, because once we have got the basic principles and the hand techniques of the djembe, we need to venture into the language, if you could say you can play it. So we need to take some phrases and pluck them and adapt them and transpose them onto the drum head, right, using the tones that we have already just established. I know I might be moving fast for people. That's perfectly okay, because you have the benefit now of watching this time and time again. I know that in Drumbelievables I am a little repetitive at times, but that's because repetition is the mother of all skills, and I don't know anybody who has learned anything without repetition. Now, I have showed you the closed tones, the open tones in bass, tone and slap area of the drum. I need to show you now what we call embellishing. Embellishing is what happens when you're playing a particular groove. Now remember, one of our grooves is a 4/4 rhythm that we use in Drumbelievables, which is Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola. Okay? And we do it normally in three sets, 3 bars. So Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola. And by pronouncing that, instead of going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, or as professional drummers go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, we go Coca-Cola, 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 because drumming is a language, and we're not trying to communicate numbers here, because 80 out of 10 people are good at maths, and I'm not one of them. So we use phrases to teach the rhythms and the rhythms. And the phrases is because drumming is a language originally, and that's how it's so easy to pick up. That's how everyone can learn, because everyone's got the heart, everyone's got the lungs, and without them there would be no rhythm. So in your very makeup, in how you function, your whole body is built for rhythm. And my job as a facilitator for Drumbelievables is to bring the rhythm out of you. So during the time of our Coca-Cola, when we're in the groove, I'd often shout out and give a notification or signal, Pepsi's better. Now before I continue on this, I must remind you that I am not paid or sponsored by Coca-Cola in any way, shape or form. And parents, I'm not telling your kids to be drinking it either. I'm just using it as a phrase. But I'm not paid by Pepsi either. And why is Pepsi important? Well, Pepsi is our embellishment, okay? We have Coca-Cola, 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 Pepsi's better. Now, the Pepsi's better is going to be done always on the outskirts of the drums in the slap area with these 2 fingers. So you can have your Coca-Cola, and remember how we start this rhythm. We start always in Drumbelievables on the count. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, go. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, Coke. So we'll go on the 5. That's when the first strike happens. Now are you guys all ready to do this together? That was a rhetorical question. Here we go. So we want Coca-Cola, 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 Pepsi's better. And we want the Pepsi's better on the outskirts of the drums. In other words, we want that Coca-Cola phrase to be completely different in tone to the rest of it. And it goes like this. Are we ready, folks? 1, 2, 3, 4. Coca-Cola, 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 Pepsi's better. once more, okay? I am personally resisting the urge to go and speed up, because I know we do that and we have great fun doing that, but I do not want to leave anyone behind, okay? As much as exciting as that is. So Coca-Cola, 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 Pepsi's better. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we've laid the foundation of the 4/4 rhythm, and we've put a fill in, and we've put in a little bit of embellishment. In other words, we have taken the groove to a different level with a higher tone. We've took the deep blue and we've put in some yellow in tone colour, or what's known as timbre. What we need, not timbre, timbre, but it's spelled Timbre, okay? I want to talk to you now about two particular rhythms that are based around language. One could argue that all rhythm is based around language, but this one in particular is based around the Irish language. And we know that in the Irish language, I've gone blank now, and so on. It's all based on limericks. And limericks are little poems and little lines and little sayings that are spoken with a particular pitch bend and a particular dialect and a particular phrasing. Okay? There was a young woman from Ickenham who took off her boots and was sickened. You see, that's a limerick in effect. Okay? Now, what's that got to do with Irish music? Well, as you will find out as you keep coming to the Drumbelievables gatherings, or as you keep contact for now with the Drumbelievables, you will find out that we learn an awful lot about culture, an awful lot about the rhythms and their origins and their applications. And what we try and do is we try and understand where they're coming from and the whole purposes of them. And what is really, really important is to understand that drumming is a language. Now, I want to talk to you about some of the foundational rhythms of Irish music. And yes, they can be played on a Djembe head, or they can be played on a Cajon head, or they can be played on a Baron, on a Congita, on a Darbuka, or whatever. It's really up to you. The world is your onions. In Drumbelievables, we take all of these world rhythms and we apply them and play them together from people from all cultures from every ethnic social background, and we play them on instruments that are from all over the world. Take the Igbo drum, for example. What you have here is your Coca-Cola. It's very hard to do this with, my knees are not in the right position for it, but anyway, I just grabbed it as an example, right? And so on. Anyway, I think you get the point, right? That whatever drum surface you have, whether you have your table, whether you have your dad's ball patch, or whether you have a cajon or a kitchen table or laps, okay? Whatever happens, right? And farmers, you have cows' backsides as well, or goats. And what you can do is that you can take these rhythms that we've done, and what we do is we're able to transpose them, that's the wrong word, but we're able to take those rhythms that we use on the djembe and we're able to apply them to other drums, based on the principle that there's a tone mix and a slap in every drum. Okay, that's pitch bending. We'll talk about pitch bending in another talk, okay, and about how to further embellish and to complement what's going on in an ensemble. But I'm coming back to the point now, and that is the triplet, the jig, or the 3/4 rhythm, or the 6/8 rhythm, okay, which is stereotypical of Irish music. The triplet is based on a 4/4 rhythm. 1, 2, 3, 4. And in that frame, you have 3 audible loud beats. And you have 1 implied beat that you cannot hear. But it's there. And that's why it's called a 3/4 rhythm. But in Irish music, they refer to that as a jig. And how many letters does it take to spell a jig? J-I-G is jig, so that is 3. The beauty of the jig is that it's played with a simple right-left. That's all we're doing. It's one hand after another. However, we are using what we use in drum language as accenting. Not from up there now, or up down there, what do you call it? No, what we're doing is we're adding an accent. And the accent that we have makes a triplet. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So we hit the 1 on our drum louder. But remember, 80 out of 10 people are useless at maths, and I'm one of them. So I'm not going to get all of you to count 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. No, we don't do that at Drumbelievables. We give you phrases so they can burn in your memory quicker. And so we revert to drumming as what it really was originally for, communicating. Now, we take the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and we give it the phrase hickory, 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 hickory. So the hic is louder than the hickor. It's louder than the r, and it's louder than the re. Hickory, 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 hickory. And if you do that, hick, you will find that it's going from hand to hand. It's going this way and that way. Some people lead with their right, okay, like this, and do their triplet this way. Okay? Some people lead from left to right. So, sometimes helps to change around the left hand to the right hand to develop both sides. Nice and slow. Remember, you can play this back. So hickory, 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 okay? That's your 3-4. That's your triplet. That's your jig. There's also a 6-8 as well. The easiest way to remember the hickory is to go dickory. Hickory's 3, dickory's 3. And it ends up like... And it's great, guys, and it's great fun, and it's such an explosive rhythm. Okay, so now let's come back here for a minute onto this bad boy. Okay. How are we all doing, by the way? Have you all logged off, stayed on, or gone missing, or have I left you all behind, or pretty all good, yeah? Don't forget to type into the comment section where you're from. And if you're new here, welcome to Drumbelievables, Ireland's largest recreational community drum gathering. Now I'm going to show you the triplet on the Djembe. In the bass section and the tone section, this is what you get. If you do it out in the slap section with just these two fingers, this is what you get. Okay? It's very, very important to remember that you can move in Drumbelievables in and out of various different rhythms at your own creative expression. The first part of any Drumbelievables gathering, the first hour is tutorial. Then we have a time of interaction and talking. There's no drumming. We have coffee and tea and all that jazz, and the biscuits and all that go flying out the window. But the conversations are great. What's really important to Drumbelievables is that we remain a community. And that is so, so, so important. And right now, community is taking a hit. But the second half of our gathering is all about the creative. And like I was just saying a moment ago, if you're in a 4/4 rhythm, like a Coca-Cola, 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 somebody could come along and say, well, I don't want to play Coca-Cola, I just want to do a single stroke roll. And you have the freedom to do that at the second half of the gathering, because that's the creative time and the expressing time. That's when you can pick these people up. I call them people because just like the large Congo and the small Congos, called the marindas and so on, and you have the male and the female, you also have the right and the left here, which is your hand. And these are just an extension of what you do with your hand. So if you wanted to at a gathering, you could pick these babies up and you could go Coca-Cola, 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 Pepsi, Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola, If anyone wants to buy anything like this or anything Drumbelievables, we will give you the discounts, we will get them for you, we'll get them delivered in, and if we're doing a bulk purchase like at the end of the month, which we are doing, you'll not pay any shipping for that. Now, here's something I haven't told you yet. In Drumbelievables you have the freedom to what we call cross rhythms. Cross rhythms are great because this is where music stands out on its own. If you're in a band, you will find that there will be possibly a lead guitar, there will be some vocals, there will be a bass section, there will be a drum section, there could even be a wind instrument section. And all of those comprised together, mashed up as one, makes a band, and makes a beautiful band if it's all done in time, all done at the right volume, and all done on the same hymn sheet, so to speak. Now in Drumbelievables, we don't need instruments, electric guitars, pianos. We do from time to time, and we have great fun with that. But what I'm trying to say is that rhythm is a standalone entity. Because drums and percussion predate the piano, they predate the harp, they predate the lyre, they predate the trumpet. They even predate Jean-Michel Jarre. Haha, bet you didn't know who he is. Google him, he's great crack. The drums, before anything else, was the foundational aspect in all original music. Drumbelievables is based on a philosophy that if you can say it, you can play it, and that if you practice repetition until it becomes a condition, it then becomes automatic. Here you will find a simple Indonesian or Mali West African djembe, and this one's a manufactured one, capable of doing rhythms from Egypt. Perfect example, in Egypt and in Arabic countries there is a rhythm which is played on a frame drum called the belody. That's B-A-L-I-D-I, baladi. That sounds, but it's pronounced belody. And it's based on the bass being a dum, dum, the tone being called a tek, and the slap being called a bar. Dum, dum, tek, bar. Dum, dum, tek, bar. Okay? And the melody is basically made up of the phrase dum, dum, deka, bar, dum, deka, bar. Deka, dum, deka, bar, dum, deka, bar. And if we're to play it on a basic level without the bass and the tone and the accents, but just to get the hands right, this is what I'd like us to work on before we have our next online gathering. Okay? And then the dum, deka, bar, dum, deka, bar. You'll have to play this back to understand this, okay? And to get to grasp it. But I'll keep moving on so that we don't lose people, okay? And it goes like this. Drumbelievables, we use Israeli rhythms, we use Iraqi rhythms, we use rhythms from Indonesia and Mali and all around the world. And in the creative section of the Drumbelievables gathering, somebody could be doing a Coca-Cola. And then somebody over that rhythm, maybe if somebody is playing a Coca-Cola, follow me, play a Coca-Cola. Everyone play a Coca-Cola, 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 Pepsi's better. 1, 2, 3, 4, Coca-Cola, 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 Pepsi's better. Coca-Cola, 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 Pepsi's better. Keep going. And then what you will find is that I will play the melody over that. So you guys are going Coca-Cola, 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 Pepsi's better. Boom. So what you'll find now is that the Western rhythm of the 4/4 rock rhythm has now met the Eastern rhythms of the melody. So that's what we do, is we integrate all of these world rhythms, the Brazilian mixed with the Caribbean, and the Caribbean mixes with the Carnival, and the Carnival mixes with the Congos, and we go down to Brazil, and then we go over to Mozambique, and then we go over to Ghana, and then once we get over to Ghana, we get excited, we come over to Ireland, and we freeze our arms off, and our hands off, after coming out of all of those hot countries. But Drumbelievables is designed, and the whole ethos and the whole philosophy is to carry you away in rhythm, to inject into your life, and to all of those that it comes in contact with, positivity, strength, and encouragement. And I'd like to thank you for joining us at this live gathering, our first tutorial. And just to remember, I was asked a question there about shakers. They have an important role to play in Drumbelievables, because they are the white and the silver in our timbre, whereas the big double bass Djembe that I have here, the double skin ones, tend to be the darker, heavier bass sections. But whenever you pick up a shaker in Drumbelievables, I want you to remember it's not a loose wrist action. You need to straighten that wrist up, and you need to take charge of this rhythm that you're going to play out with this shaker. And the LP shaker is a very, very good shaker. It's very diverse because it splits in two, and they're available through Drumbelievables if you need them. And remember, we're doing a bulk purchase at the end of the month. If you want to be part of that bulk purchase and there's anything that you would like, we will deal with that. Now, remember, hold your arm dead straight. There's none of this in Drumbelievables. I haven't seen it in any professional musician, and I haven't seen it in any amateur musicians either. Take charge of that shaker. Don't hold it over here unless you're trying to reach a microphone on a drum kit or whatever. Hold it right here in front of you where you can hear it and appreciate it. You don't want to be sticking it into the ear of the person who's trying to concentrate on another rhythm going on in the room at the same time. Take it up here, take charge, keep that wrist straight, and go Coca-Cola, 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 Pepsi Becca, Coca-Cola, 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 Pepsi Becca, Coca-Cola, 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 Pepsi Becca. You've heard it from Pepsi Becca. Coca-Cola, 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 Pepsi Becca. Some people may pick up two shakers. If that's the case, you want two shakers, then you're going to give the simple tasking to your left hand. And it's very simple. Or if you're left-handed, you're going to give the simple tasking to your right hand. Okay? Right. So, keep the wrist dead straight and go. Keep them in your frame of reference. So we're not over here. Now, what we're trying to do is knock people's glasses off, or knock people's noses out of joint, or give people injury. We keep them here, we keep them charged. We're taking charge of our rhythm, and we're bringing confidence, and we're learning good techniques, and we're trying to escape any bad habits from the very outset. So Coca-Cola, 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 Pepsi Becca, Coca-Cola, 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 Pepsi Becca, Coca-Cola, 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 Pepsi Becca. What some people do is in Drumbelievables, and this is perfectly alright, is that you have your bass section and you have your slap section. So what you do is you get a nice soft shaker, another LP soft shaker. So Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola, Pepsi Becca, Coca-Cola, 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 Pepsi Becca, Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola. And so on and so forth. I just forgot to put that in earlier, but I was just reminded by, I don't know who reminded me, Ghost. Anyway, the point is that Drumbelievables cares very much about people. We are people focused, we're family focused, and we care deeply about the situations that you guys are in. And we hope that by staying in connection with Drumbelievables, that we tonight have given you guys a bit of escape, something to work for, that we've injected a little bit of positivity into a very dark situation. And it is a dark situation. I don't want to just talk about me, but I know many people who are struggling, especially in the music world, who don't have an income right now. And that aside, I know that a lot of people watching this as well are in the exact same situation. So there is no charges, no finance involved whatsoever in coming online to participate and to stay connected with Drumbelievables. That is so important right now, and I hope when all of this blows over that you guys will come back to our gatherings and come back with a renewed energy, a renewed enthusiasm. We're going to have Drumbelievables in Birmingham, in Warwick, in Kidderminster, in Ipswich. We're going to be down in Waterford. We're going to be over in Kilkenny, New Ross, Enniscorthy, Gorey, and so on. The community gatherings are going to spread, and many professional drummers and percussionists, even in Galway and Letterkenny and Donegal, are in collusions with me now at a moment with a view to starting Drumbelievables gatherings in that community. We're at a very crucial time, and yes, we've been dealt this horrible curveball of this virus and how it's affecting everyone's business. Yes, it's inconvenienced greatly, but people have lost their lives, and we must never forget that, and we must remember them. But at the same time, to end on a very positive note, as soon as all of this is over, all of us Drumbelievers, we're going to be gathering somewhere in mass, and all Drumbelievers from all over the county, and even some invited guests who are scheduled to come to our summer camp this year, are going to come and host and facilitate, and we are going to have one smashing gathering when we come back. I give you my word, everywhere will hear us, because we will be coming back to celebrate life and to celebrate value of an appreciation of the very air that we breathe, and to celebrate the joy and the peace and the unity that comes from recreational community drumming. Stay safe out there, be safe, be strong, like, share, subscribe, please share and keep Drumbelievables alive. Thank you very much.